This is Endless with VGMechanica.com, and I'm going to tell you about Dwarf Fortress. Dwarf Fortress is a free game available from Bay12games.com. They do accept donations, and I have a lot of fun with it. There's several game modes. We're going to go over the Dwarf Fortress mode, and we'll get to that in a bit. The game is fairly complex, and as such, I recommend you download it as the Lazy Noob Pack, which is a kind of a packaging someone else put together for it. You can Google it. I'll have the link in the description here. Go ahead and download that, and then unpack it where you want to play it from. It's pretty straightforward. You just run the executable. And when you get there, you're going to have a couple settings you can do before you get started. The economy, invaders, things like that. I'll keep those on. Population cap. I can actually play at 500 on my computer, but this is a system-intensive game, so the more people you have, the more dwarves, you have, the slower the game's going to run. 200 is a good one to put it on. Turn aquifers off on your first few first few embarks, as they can make things a little complicated, and there's something you should learn about later. So I also use the Lazy Noob key bindings, makes things a little easier for me, and I'll be doing the videos off of that. You can look up your key bindings pretty simply. For graphics, you'll see there are different graphic packs. The game starts in kind of an ASCII simulated mode where everything's simulated by a little symbol or I don't know, letter, number. I don't like to play like that. There's some purists, that's the only way they like to play. That's like dwarves in it. So I actually use one of the graphics packs, which gives the game a little bit of graphics. So we'll use Phoebe's here. Phobos. And call that good. You can use any of these. They're all pretty good. I'll switch from time to time. I don't really have a favorite. The utilities are something we'll load after the game starts. I use Dwarf Fortress pretty much all the time. I really don't recommend playing without it. It simplifies managing your dwarves. The rest are fairly optional, and I probably won't use them for the videos, but they're pretty cool. We might go over them later. For advanced, you want autosave seasonal, because if the game crashes and it hasn't saved, then it's just going to be annoying because you can lose a lot of progress. And I pause it because it locks up the game when it saves. And keep sound off. The only sound is really the music, and while the music's fun, it repeats and repeats and repeats, and you're going to be playing this game a long time, and you really don't want that. And it didn't save that. Okay. And let's play. So we'll do that. Going to open up Dwarf. Oh, not yet. Did everything else save? Yeah, okay. So we're going to create a new world. So no matter which game mode you play in, you need to create a world. And we'll do medium world, medium history. It kind of explains what each of these do. They can make things more fun. Fun being, I don't know, difficult or dying in an exciting way. We'll turn that up just a little bit for the video, just so I can show you how everything works. I'm going to hit go, and it's going to generate the world in real time. It's going to generate the history, the other civilizations. Sometimes civilizations come up and die out. I'm going to pause the video while it does this. See you in a moment. Alright, everything loaded, and it's giving me the option to look over to see if this is the world I want to start in. I really don't have a lot of criteria other than it looks kind of interesting, and this one does. So we're going to hit enter to accept. So it's going to save the world. As it did that, it created legendary figures, people with histories, and it kind of gave them an eventual fate, or they died off some way, and you can look at all that in legendary mode. And this may take a second. Alright, now the world is created, we can click Start Playing, and we're going to do Dwarf Fortress mode. Adventure mode allows you to have one character, and you kind of venture, you get quests. Pretty cool. Legends allows you to see the history of it. So we're going to do Dwarf Fortress mode. And it's going to pop open the world, and we're going to be able to choose where we want to embark. Can't embark everywhere. There's some places that are already cities, but you can choose. I like to choose near mountains. Other people can choose on islands if you can find one. And, you know, if you look around, everything's got names. kind of randomly generated. Also tells you, see, that's the name of a city, so obviously that can't be here, but it tells you what is in the area. We want trees. I want a little bit of soil. Let's find a good warm spot. A mountain and a river. Alright. I'm not going to be too picky here because I want to... so when you've got it, you can use the UMKH to kind of localize within the area. And I want to get the river in there. River is an unlimited supply of water, and it freezes in the winter, but this is a warm temperature zone, so I don't think we're going to get icy winters, which is fine. It's just a good water source, makes it kind of easier. I like having mountains. Oh, you know, last time I played it wasn't that important. But, you know, we're going to embark here. We've got some metals. Looks like it's going to be relatively easy. Probably not fun, but I can at least get you... It's warning me for some reason. Oh, it always warns you. So you can prepare your journey carefully, which allows you to pick your starting skills and equipment. When you first start, I would choose one of the starter packs. I like the Lazy Noob pack, actually. It's pretty much my chosen way to start the game anyway. You get 2 people with mining skills, a woodworker, a mason crafter, a broker, and 2 of them are farmers, and that works pretty good. You can also, after you pick it, go through and edit and look at what you're starting with. This has worked out for me many times. I like it, but you can go through here and pick what you want. And you get a point allotment for, it says 0 is completely used, but the points are used to spend on both skills and items, so you kind of need to balance what you want. But we're gonna do this. Everybody gets a randomly generated name. So those are our 7 dwarves. I'm gonna hit E to embark. So it's gonna take a moment here. And we should go in. We're in Asteral. It's gonna load. Okay. So you have arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh track has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost to the glory of all Sodom Dum, which I think is the name of this world. You read through that, it's pretty fun. The name of our place is Saber Treaty. So it gets a random generated name for your fortress. So I'm going to hit pause, hit spacebar to pause everything. So we got 3 screens here. We have our mini-map. We have our this is all your commands, all your shortcuts. And we have what we're viewing. Now, you're going to see a lot of this. I'm actually just going to hit tab to get rid of the mini-map. And now we can see just what we're at. F1 will bring it back. So this is our embark. This is actually a wagon, and those are our dwarves. And those little animals and the stuff that they brought with them. This is the walls and of a place we can mine into. Hitting, in this case, comma and period will go up Z levels. Z levels are your versions of 3D. Arrows move around, so if I want to see what's on top of that hill, top of that hill, on top of that hill, and you can go down. And then also underground. So we're going to end up digging underground here in a bit. Actually, I can dig right into the mountain. There's a lot of stuff. If you hit K, you can move your cursor around and it tells you what the stuff is. So hematite, microline, if you're like me, you don't know what the hell that means off the top of your head. I just knew by the icon. Some of them are gems. So hematite, we're going to pull open, whoops, that's the wrong application. We're going to pull open the Dwarf Fortress wiki, which is also going to be linked, and we're going to type it in. So what was that? It was hematite. Hematite. It's going to tell us what it is and what it can be used for, which is pretty handy. So it's iron ore. Right off the bat we have an iron ore, which is nice. I usually don't run into that until I dig down deeper. So we can smelt it, make iron bars, and then we can make iron goods out of it. And that's pretty cool. So hematite is an iron ore. Then we can do the same thing with everything around. Gives us an idea what it can be used for. We also want regular stone, which chert, and that'll be good. So that's not bad right there. So also we're going to go ahead and start Dwarf Therapist. So we're going to run the program. I'll go over this real quick. So this is all 7 of my dwarves. I like to arrange it by migration wave, so that when more guys come in, they're in their own grouping. You can sort it by however you want. Looks like I got 5 females, 2 males. Doesn't make a huge difference. If you do military females, you gotta be a little more careful with, because they can give birth right in the middle of battle, and that's no good. This tells you what skills they have. There's multiple screens for that. So military, social. Nobody's very social. It's like the appraiser. He's gonna be the she's gonna be our broker. And yeah, we'll go more over this as we need it. So this has the farming skills. Masonry and stone detailing are for making mason items in the workshops. Mining is pretty self-explanatory. Wood cutting is the same. So we'll minimize those. D is for designations. Designate a place to chop down trees. So I'm going to move my mouse, not my mouse, my cursor here. I'm using the arrows. I like to use the arrows. Hit enter and then just create a big box. And you see all the trees have now been highlighted, and they're going to chop those down. Also, gather some plants for some extra early starting food. There we go, quite a bit there. So that's going to keep some of them busy. Also, I want to mine right into the wall. Is that gold? Man. Nope, okay. I'm just going to dig a little hole out. These up arrows means that... Whoops, gotta hit D again for mining. I tried to chop down the wall, that doesn't work. Those up arrows means that they can use that to walk up to the next level. So I'm going to hit space, and they're going to go ahead and start doing all the jobs I just gave them. Just let them do this for a little bit here. Once they have this carved out a bit, I'll start building workshops and stuff. So the miners will get, everyone will get better at their skills as they do it. So the miners will get better, and the better they are, the less likely they are to destroy ore as they dig into that area. So all the dwarves need to eat. So right now I have a starting food. So if I hit Z, it tells me how much starting food and drink I have. Drink in this context is alcohol. Dwarves will drink alcohol above anything else because they love it. And if you run out of alcohol, they get unhappy. Unhappy dwarves will throw tantrums eventually and kill other dwarves. So you don't want that. So we're going to keep this going. Actually, just to keep things simple. So P is to set stockpiles. P for piles. And we're going to go ahead and hit that. And what we want right away is a wood stockpile, because we're going to need to make some starting stuff. So I'm just going to make it right here. Not going to make it very big. So now, as they chop stuff down, they're going to move all the wood into that area there. Also, I don't need a stone one. Oh yeah, I want a furniture storage because I'm going to make some beds. And I want them to, if you don't set a place for them to put it, it'll keep piling up on the workshop, and then the workshop will have a slowed build time. So we're also going to hit B for building. You can scroll through these with the plus minus keys, so you can kind of look at them all. I know that W is for workshops, so I'm going to hit W for workshops, and then I'm going to do a carpenter workshop, or C. I'm going to build that right here. And see, we've already chopped down some trees and found some microline. I'd like to conserve wood, because wood has a lot of uses. Microline is just a blue stone. It really doesn't have much use, it's just a nice color. And I'm going to hit escape a couple times to get back, and hit spacebar. So now everyone's getting busy here. They're going to put the furniture over there, stuff that's already in the wagon. They're putting over there anvil, pots. And keeps everyone busy here. So also you hit N, and that brings up your noble screen and administrators. We want to set a broker real quick. So we got one guy who was an appraiser. Her name's Reg. And I'm going to hit enter on that. So all that does is it gives me a better idea of what I have, and when traders come, she'll be the person that walks up there, and we can get our items. So this is going to be a little bit Times like this, I'm just going to pause it until things are gone through, until I have something else to say. So I'm just going to pause this until they're done. So as they're mining, they're leaving a lot of stuff on the ground, and I'll hit K here. These are just sand on the ground, but that is pink jade. It's kind of a jewel. You can use it to, you can cut it first in a jewel shop, and then you can encrust it into items to make them more valuable. Dwarves are happier when their things are worth a lot. Also, the more valuable something is, the more a trader will give you, and you can trade for goods that you're missing. This is just chert, so it's more stone, microline, and then that's just a regular floor. And pretty straightforward. Also, the workshop here is done. So I'm going to hit Q for set building tasks, and then I can hit A to give him a task. And I'm going to go down to beds, which is B, and I want him to build me 7 beds for my 7 dwarves. And that's what my woodcrafter is going to do here, my carpenter, while they continue to dig that out. So I'm also going to hit I, and I sets zones. Zones are kind of like piles. They have different uses though. So I'm just going to make it 1 square, hit enter, and then hit enter again. And then this, you can set what the zone does up here. I just want this to be a garbage dump. So I'm going to hit G. And I'm going to skip out, and then I'm going to hit D for designation. And then I'm going to hit B. And then I'm going to hit D. And this is going to give them a mass dump order. So I'm going to hit enter here, all the way over here. Now they're going to pick up everything that I've just designated, and they're going to put it all on top of that one spot. Why it fits in 1 square, I don't know. Dwarves have figured out some kind of way of shrinking space and time, but anyhow, it's very efficient. And after they put it in there, I'm going to show you how to set it to reclaim, so they'll just use it as a stockpile. And it clears this out nicely, so I can do other designations. So let's look around a little bit while they're doing that. So here's that river. That 7 means it's a full square. You'll see the depth of water is kind of measured by that. You can have 7 depths per square. Also, F1 to go back home. If you use your mouse wheel and you scroll a little bit, you can zoom out a little bit. I like to get a little bit of a zoom out. Okay. So I'm going to hit D and I, and that'll give me an up, down. Well, actually, I don't need an up, down stairway. I need a down stairway. And I'm going to start, about here. So now they're going to dig down. So I'm going to hit period and go down. And I'm going to hit I for up, down. So we want these to link. So we're going to go down a couple layers so we can get our fort going underground. That's going to give us more stone resources, but it's also going to be safer for us in the long run. We're also going to set up some traps and build some walls here in a bit. Alright. So he's still making beds. I'm gonna hit, if you hit K on top of that spot where you put the garbage dump zone, everything is in these brackets, and that's telling it that they're forbidden, that the dwarves can't use it. But if I hit D and B, then C, it's already on C default. I can reclaim it. If I just highlight the pile, now everything in it is usable, and they'll use it as needed. So it's just an easy way to do a pile that you can get to. So they're digging out the stairs, which is nice. Also, let's see. So when we start a fortress, we need essentially 3 things. We need security, which I'll do with walls and traps in a bit. We'll need food, and we'll need alcohol and or water. So we're going to set up these 3 things essentially first. And as we see here, Chert and sand. Let me look up chert, make sure there's nothing valuable in it. I don't know all the names of dirt. You're gonna the dwarf wiki might as well be part of the game as far as I'm concerned. You're gonna be going to it a lot. It's magma safe, which is good for later. Oh, you can use it to make stone swords. Okay. Oh no, that's just in the real world. Okay. Probably not in the game. Alright, escape, get it going again. So, get them to build down. Also, I want to look. Black sand. Promising. So, one of the things you can do with building is you can build a farm plot. I don't like building outdoor farms as they're weather sensitive. Not that it's going to matter in this warm zone, but I like to build it indoors anyway because I like to just farm lots of plump helmets. Plump helmets are mushrooms. They're an easy food source, and you can make dwarven ale out of it. So what I'm going to do is on the second layer, I'm going to hit D to mine, and what I'm trying to do is just to get it under there. So we really just want them here. Building up, then how we're going to build it downward. Up, down, and then I like three wide things. Makes things easier. So okay, so they should dig up there, and unless I miss my guess, this should make sand floors, which you can build farms in. Since it's indoors, I can build my indoor farms. And then I'll block that off later and make it part of the essentials. I want to make it to where everything is indoors, my water source, my food source, so that if I am invaded or sieged, I can keep all my dwarfs inside and they're not going to starve or anything. Let's smooth some of this out too. Now I've only got 2 miners, so I can't overwork. I mean, I can, but if I overwork them, it's going to take longer for everything to get done. Also, you can remove these up channels, which I'm going to do to make it a little harder for animals to get into my area without me controlling where they come from. So let's look at Dwarf Therapist real quick. We're going to refresh. It kind of tells you what everyone's up to. You can tell people are a little more content. Dwarves like to work. Oh, speaking of which, now that we've got a few layers down here. Well, they haven't gotten here yet. Anyhow, I'm going to... We're going to do this. I'm going to make some designations. I'm going to pause it while I do that because this can be a little time intensive. And all I'm doing is I'm telling them where I want them to mine in certain patterns. And then what they're going to dig it out, and then I'm going to make them my rooms and my workshops and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Alright, so I went ahead and designated some areas. I'm going to have this place be the living quarters. Eventually these will be bedrooms and these will be noble quarters. This one's unfortunately going to have to travel through it. They got to start somewhere. And then I'll just kind of do a couple layers above it, since I've got all these extra layers, and that way I can stack. That's 20 and 4 noble rooms per level, so that's plenty of bedrooms. And this, I only really need to make one of these. I might do another layer later for kind of places to put dead bodies and stuff, but this will be where the offices and the throne rooms are. But for now, I just want them to dig out this area and this area. This will be the dormitory where they sleep at first. Eventually they'll get their own rooms where they become unhappy, and this will be kind of a common eating area. And so I'm going to unpause it, and they should eventually make their way down here. And you don't have to do anything this elaborate. I like it because it looks nice. These are going to be where the workshops are. and I can also store stuff there. And then this is just going to be storage, and I'll do a couple more layers like that. I do this kind of this kind of inside so that they're going to dig the stairs down, then they'll come here, and then they'll come across here. And what I'll do is I'll channel that down, and I'll put a bridge, and I can put traps and stuff down there, or make it a pit, or whatever. It gives me options later on. But I don't think I'll do much with it in this game. It was just a design I usually use. Let's see. We're going to mine in here. And I'm actually going to do probably that before I do... Okay, good. Before I do those, so that I can get the workshops up and going. You want to get your industry going pretty quick. How are they doing up here? Okay. Let's see. Right, he finished the beds, so I'm going to have him build some bins, which will come in handy in a bit. And I still got to wait on them to dig out some stuff, and I'm going to start walling off areas with all the stone we're going to be uncovering. And okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause it again while they dig all this out. Alright, so they got this area mined out, and I went ahead and already told them to dump with DBD so that they'll start moving these out. Now I'm going to start placing beds. Beds you build just like workshops, except you actually have to physically build the bed first. And basically I'm telling them the places. So I'm hitting B for build, and I'll hit B again for bed. And I'm going to do this 7 times. And every time you select it, it'll ask you which, if you want to choose one over the other, in case you have some really nice beds you're trying to save for Noble or something. So this is going to give me a little bit of trouble because I'm putting them on top of things I've designated to dump. So it's going to be pretty easy to fix that though. So I'm going to go ahead and hit escape, and some of the dwarves are going to grab beds and start bringing them down. And once the first bed is down, I'm going to designate this as a dormitory, and I'll show you how that's done. Yeah, see, that's an item blocking site. That's fine, I can fix that in a bit. So we'll start with this one. We'll hit R to make it a bedroom, and then you can set the size of the room, and I'm just going to hit the plus sign. And then I'm going to hit enter. And now you'll see there's these options. I could assign it to one person or whatever. I'm just going to hit D for dormitory, and then that way it'll open up for any dwarf can sleep here when they're tired. And that'll make our dwarves happier, so they're not sleeping on the floor anymore. As soon as I get a door, I'll so I hit what it is. I hit Q just like you go into a workshop. I'm going to highlight the bed that didn't build, and I'm going to hit S. Since the construction was suspended, I'm going to hit it again, and that should fix that. At some point a dwarf will come down and try to finish building it. And there we go. 7 beds for 7 dwarfs. That'll work until our first wave. And I also, hit F1 to get up here, built a mason's workshop, which BW and then M for mason. I'm having them build me some chairs, or if it's a stone chair, they just call it a throne, and some tables. That way I can fill up the dining room. Also, while I'm thinking about it, hit Q and highlight your wagon when you've got enough stuff out, and you can remove it, and they'll reclaim some of the resources from that. Right now it's raining outside, which is why you see all those little blue dots. So another reason I'm trying to get everyone in as soon as I can. And let's go ahead and hit B. So you can shift, you can go through, and what I want to do is I want to build a wall. So capital C gets you here, so that'd be Shift C, walls. And you hit K and H to kind of choose your width. I want to build it across the front, and what I'm going to do is just make one way in. I'll do it out of chert. So I'm just going to start with that for now, and what we'll do is we'll end up probably building a tower or something. Some people are a little more obsessive on making sure the dimensions are all right and everything, but I'm not too worried about that. Alright, so I've got some openings, so we're going to do table to Q and then X to remove it. Table. So I'm out of tables, and then chair. Alright, I only had 4 chairs. Okay, so that'll get the dining room started at least. Also, I want to set a hotkey so I can just come back here real quick. So you hit H, you use the plus, sorry, you use the key you want to set. So F1 is my gate, F2 is what I want this to be. I'm just going to name it to entrance. And then I'm going to hit Z for zoom here. So now when I hit F2, it'll take me down here. And how is that doing? Did I miss? No? Just didn't get it going for some reason. Okay. We've got most of that done, so I'm going to go ahead and have them dig down to where I have my workshops. That way they'll get that started. We can have our industry. I don't know why they're not building my... Alright, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it while they dig out the next area. Okay, while I was waiting for them to mine the area out, some migrants came. It also came summer. Migrants mean there are more dwarves, and what it'll do is it'll pause it and zoom over to where they're entering from, where you can kind of see them all coming on. The amount of migrants that come with each wave is kind of random. You usually don't get a whole lot to start, but I have had a 20 dwarf wave be my first wave. So the easiest way to see how many we've gotten is either hit the U button, which is also good for seeing if there's any bad animals in the area, or my favorite is just to use dwarf therapist. Hit read dwarves. So we got 3 more dwarves. Not a big deal. Pretty easy to deal with. So we'll go ahead and we'll see what they can do. And this guy is craftsman. That's actually a pretty nice one. Woodcutter, not bad. Also going to give him stone detailing and a little masonry. Well, we'll give him masonry later, but we'll give him stone detailing, and what that'll do is when I want stone smoothed, he'll be one of the people called for it. And then what do you do? Butchery, which is good, but I don't use it right now. So you'll definitely be... I'll read that. You can be bone doctor too. So there we go. That was pretty straightforward. That was a really small wave, actually. Sure there's no one else hiding around there? Okay. Also, some of the other things I did while I was waiting is you can hit R to make it a dining room, just like I made it a bedroom. And I sized it to the whole thing. And then I'll just add chairs and tables as we go. Actually, I'll have to add some beds here in a bit. Now we have 10 dwarves. And that'll make this a place where they eat. And then I made this a food stockpile, so they have a pantry readily available. And they're still mining out, and I still haven't gotten the farm set up, which is kind of bad. I usually want to have that set up by now. But they can last a little longer just from scavenging. So let's get those workshops going. So I had him make some doors, and then you build doors just like you put down any piece of furniture. I'm going to have him make 3 more beds for me. And make 3 more tables and 3 more chairs. You don't have to make them to order like this. You can just build a big stockpile. I end up having way much more furniture than I need traditionally, but right now I'm just kind of keeping things going a little smoothly. Should have enough food and drink to last me another season or 2. I've got enough space. I ended up undesignated some areas so that they'll build the farm first. Same here, so they won't go straight to that. And I'll go ahead and pause it while they dig again. Alright, so the dwarves managed to start digging out the where I'm going to put the farms. So in this case, I'm going to build it on top of black sand, which should be fine. Dirt works too. Mud works great. If you get into an area where you just can't find any internal dirt, you can, if you do something like dig through a wall where there's water and let it soak into the ground and then evaporate off, that will leave mud behind, and I can go over advanced methods like that later on. Also, you can have them designate a pond above it, and they'll just start pouring buckets of water on the area. And all you need is a muddy ground, and then you can build the farm, and you only got to do it once. It doesn't really need huge irrigation. So, I'm going to go ahead and build farm plot. So, whoops. I messed up there. Give me a moment. Cancel that. Build plot. So you use the UMKH to size it. And now a farmer's going to come along and till the land there and start the farm. And shouldn't take too long. While they're doing that, I'm going to keep building some stuff down here. Got those going. You're getting kind of cluttered. So I kind of built the wall up a little more too. I had to stop here because my workshop's in the way, but when I move the workshop, I'll continue the wall. And then I'll build floors and extra walls up top, and we'll build kind of a tower we can build way up. Maybe I'll grab a 3D visualizer so you guys can see what it looks like. So I'm also going to build another farm plot. You don't need a whole lot, as long as you're not cooking your... You can build a kitchen as one of the workshops, but if you cook the plump helmets, the mushrooms, then it kills the spores and they won't produce seeds. Normally when they're eaten or made into drinks, the spores are preserved, so you can use it to build more. So he went ahead and built it. So now we've got these options here. We have A, B, C, and D for spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And then every time we select one, we get a list of crops we can grow, or we can set it to fallow. They're set to fallow by default, which means it's not growing anything. But I'm going to go ahead and have it grow plump helmets year-round. And that'll give us a nice food source. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other farm plot. And that'll give us plenty of food. I'm also going to build a workshop. I'm going to... Where's it get a still going? Just right here. A chert. And then maybe... that there. And how are we for food? We're good for food. We're really low on drink, so I'm gonna... Oh. It's fine. So we're gonna build a craft Dwarf's shop right here. I made these little gaps. You only need 3x3. You can put them anywhere. I like keep things a little cool looking. Take designs you find on other people's screenshots and kind of adapt it to your own. So made that out of schist. I'll do another one here. And you're going to end up doing a lot of crafts. I'm going to end up using those to build pots. Pots are going to be used for when you make dwarf wine, which is made from the mushrooms, in this case, any alcohol, or if you make food, they need containers for them. Pots work fine. Alright. Good. So, give me some pots. We're also going to want to build crafts because that's what... Alright, I'm also going to make a craft pile here. A finished good pile. And we'll build it to here. And then I'm going to make a stone pile here, so that we have some convenient stone nearby. I'll have that go, I think. I can build as they want now. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to let them build a little more, and we'll go to the next step. Alright, well, I'm thinking about it. We want to build a mechanics workshop real quick. And we can build it here, it shouldn't be a problem. Workshop, mechanic, it's T. And with that, I'm going to build the mechanisms, and with that, I'll be able to build traps, and that'll be part of our security. And also, I'm going to have the carpenter start pumping out wood cages for me. I find cage traps are a really good way for early game security, and then as you develop your military, which we'll go over later, you can really defend yourself. But pretty much most things can be trapped. I had a Cyclops get trapped in a normal trap the other day, so it is a workable strategy. Alright, I'm going to let these guys dig a little more. Oh, so the still finished. I need them to brew drinks, so I'm going to, if you hit A to add task and select your thing and then hit R on it, it'll repeat it over and over until it's no longer able. So I'm going to have it just keep making booze until it can't, until they drop, because the dwarves get unhappy if you run out, and I'd rather not have to deal with that. So we'll let them build a little bit more, then we'll set up the rest of our industry, and we'll go over a few little things, and then we'll call it. Alright, so we've got a caravan, and that means they're going to want to trade. Now, I haven't built a whole lot of trade yet, but I can't even trade until we build an outpost. So or a trade depot real quick. So there's trade depot. And we're just going to build it right there, right in front of the doors, and we'll build it out of some schist. Okay. Merchants are they're just usually a couple guys, humans or dwarves or elves, and they bring some mules and they bring some stuff to trade with them. And this is what our broker is for too. So when the depot gets built, give a moment here. Alright, we'll wait for that. Also go over a couple other things. I finished the wall here, and I wasn't really paying attention, and this little guy here walled himself in. He'll be okay. I've got those set to be dug out, and worst case I can have him remove the wall in front of him. In fact, I think I may do that. So remove construction is D and then N. We're just going to remove that block. So he can actually do that task himself. I believe he can. Unless someone else grabbed the task, but they shouldn't be too long then. Okay, he did it, yeah. So we're going to undesignate those so they're not mined out, so there's no little leaks into my base, and that should do it. He's going to go grab some food. So everything else is looking. Alright. We did get another lot of another migrant wave, so we're up to 18 dwarfs right now. I did add a little more here. So we want some doors. And some floodgates for later. And we want some more beds. I'm also going to need some statues and stuff for the rooms a little later. Good, good, good. Okay. I want to get my gem industry going so that I can set my crafts with gems so they're worth more. Because right now it's going to be pretty pathetic. And then we want to get our wood burners and our smelters going so we can smelt down iron and make iron goods. And if we find gold and ore, stuff like that, we can do those as well. Alright, that's about done. I think they finished it. Okay. So I'm going to hit R so that it tells my trader is requested. B will let you do broker only or allow your other guys to trade. I've never seen much good in allowing everyone else to trade, so I don't usually. Looks like he's making a rock pot, so let me cancel those so that he'll get up here sooner. There he goes. Okay, so he's on his way up, but I also need to set stuff to come over. So usually I'll only do crafts this early. So I've got 2 bins of stuff. Really not much else I want to trade right now, but you can go through everything and set what you want to trade. Some people specialize in making fine meals, some people whatever. I just do crafts. It's easy. So people are he's going to come up. He's ready to trade, even though I don't even know where the merchants are. I think they're still here. Let's say merchant or something. Yeah, they're there. They're still here. They're coming. Yep, there they are. Takes them a moment to set up shop. And they'll usually stay till about the end of the season or near it. Speaking of the end of the season, it's going to take a second to save this, so let's see. Should be enough time. Trade. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and just select my bins. So I'll select everything in them. So not a whole lot. And as you see, it's also gone over his weight limit because his guys can only hold so much. So it's easy enough. You just buy something cheap that weighs a lot, like clay. Ooh, obsidian. How about obsidian? That's better. Alright, so just to kind of give myself a buffer, I'm going to buy some food. As you see, he's going to make a certain amount of profit, so that's what I put up for trade, and that's what his profit is. Depending on how good your broker is and how much, like if he's got an office and stuff, he's a little better. He'll be satisfied with a less profit, but he still needs, like, I don't know, 20, 30, sometimes 50%. So you just got to play with it. I'm going to get some drinks. Leather, too, if he's got a bin of it. Leather's usually pretty cheap. Piles of wood, I don't know, it's cheap. Take it. It's not what I wanted. No booze, huh? It's very undwarf-like. Come all this way and you don't bring me any booze? Oh, got a bag of plaster. That's a big part of the medical thing here. And no cloth, no leather. It's kind of a disappointing trip, but whatever. Dwarfs, if they try new things, will sometimes start to crave it, and if you don't have a ready supply of it, it can make them unhappy. So at least in the beginning I like to stick with simple foods, and then later when I'm making a lot of product I can spread out the type of stuff I bring in so that I don't worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and trade for that. So, okay. Just that forward, let my broker go back to what he was doing, and I'm done with them. They'll stick around for a while longer, but I don't need anything else from them. That's pretty straightforward. Nothing's going here. I don't think I need that yet. So there's a lot more you can do. There's a lot of stuff you can build in workshops, and you can set with the mechanisms. Here, let's build some traps. Let's get that started. So you go to, it's going to be capital T for traps and levers. And we want a cage trap. And I'm going to take a mechanism And I'm going to cover my entrance with it. Now, your guys can go right through it unless they get attacked near it. Then if they dodge onto a trap, they'll get trapped by it. But you can let them out easily enough if they survive. And these can be moved. They're just a good, easy way to do early game defense. So I've got a wall against anything but flyers really can get in. And I've got food, so if I'm ambushed, I mean, 200 drink already, and that's, yeah, and 80 food. And I've got production already started, and we're doing pretty good, pretty quick. So you take those basics with you, and get started with the game, and I'll do another video, and we'll keep this going. Thanks for watching.